And there, Ross.
Hey, Lucas.
Hello, this is OJ.
Hey, OG. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
You
no
guys,
problem. Let me get my camera going.
Howdy, howdy. Thanks everyone for joining. Awesome. Just getting some more people in the room here. Hope everyone's week is off to a powerful start. Starting to see some exciting updates in the AI sphere with some, I don't know if anybody saw the latest interview with Sam Altman from on Lex Friedman's podcast yesterday. That's kind of interesting.
I got a little bit of it. So
Yeah, it's like the rumblings. What's going to be next? What are they going to release next?
they're gonna tell us that we are in the AI world, but we are living in a simulation world.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yep. Tim, hey guys, hey Sean.
hey Ross, how are you?
Doing good. Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. We got lots of folks in here today. It's great to see everybody. Thanks for joining. Got some exciting updates to share. The team's been hard at work getting these latest updates out, so we're super stoked to share all these updates with you guys. We'll get right into it. And then I'm going to go over some updates, then we'll go over some general FAQ stuff, and then we'll open it up to any questions anybody has. So we're working on the release notes right now. We just pushed 1.25 is the latest update. So if you go into the bottom left-hand corner of your dashboard, you'll always be able to see the latest app version. And then the changelog, the information that is on this page, this will always be updated in the little rocket icon in the top right-hand corner. So this will be where you can load and see all of the updates and click in and see all the latest features. Gosh, it's moving slow today. Cool. So 1.25, the first big thing is now we have instant responses with streaming. So this is one of the things that we've been working on for a long time, and we finally did it as best as possible, basically. So this is going to now allow you to have pretty much near instant responses. So instead of having something that would wait until the full answer came in, you can now have this response instantly come in and it will be streamed in, which means it's going to look like it will be if you were to type it into ChatGPT, it'll come in that manner. So this is a live update. If you go into your update feature or update section in a chatbot and then go down into advanced settings, there's going to be a new option called enable streaming. So if you click this checkbox to enable it and then click update, your bot will then be updated to now have streaming enabled, and then the responses will be near instant.
Why is it not enabled by default?
It will, I believe we made it by default for all new bots. We don't typically like to make or push updates on bots that are existing just because we don't want to have people's perception of it change without you guys knowing what happened or, if we did something.
Yeah, and also, Ross, because it's in beta, to be clear, we didn't want to push out, a beta feature and make it the default until it's at least well tested. Now, we do have a fallback mechanism. If a bot has streaming enabled and for whatever reason it can't establish the WebSocket that powers the streaming, then it will fall back to the traditional approach. And we tested that functionality. That does work very well as well. But yeah, that's why it's not currently default. Coming soon, though.
All right, so worst case is basically it falls back to what it was previously, right?
Yep. So
Well,
if streaming
enable
is enabled. Yep, exactly.
Okay, but that's totally fine, isn't it?
Didn't work.
Next up, we've
And
got
awesome change, by the way, guys. Really looking forward. I look forward to that. So pretty stoked about
Yeah, our developers did an amazing job, and it was not simple, to be clear. So we had to implement
imagine.
streaming with function calling. So
I went back and I left it on longer, and then it burnt some of the stupid.
So we've got, yeah. So let us know your thoughts on this in Discord. Overall, the feedback that we've gotten is people are loving it and it works great. So let us know what you guys think, and then we'll keep updating it. Next up, we've got user permissions. So this is a big one, and we tried to introduce this in the easiest approach as possible. So this feature is also going to update and allow us to do a lot of things down the road with control over the platform based on your users and a lot of different things. But so to start, when you go into your agency and users profile section and then you click edit, there now is going to be these toggles on different options for permissions. And so this is going to be very useful if you guys have VAs or, clients have VAs, whatever it may be, to only, or if you know, a client, you want to make sure a client can only, view the chatbot dashboard, but not be able to access the knowledge base or any of the other information, make it like that. So this is a feature that we're going to be continuously improving and adding in more in toggles. So you can see how this account permissions is now in the coming soon tab. We're trying to do this just like our approach with everything else in building blocks, get this feature out, get your guys' feedback on it, improve and iterate, and then it becomes a solid feature. So just like with streaming, check this out. Let us know your feedback. We'll go from there. Tim, do you want to add anything on that one?
No, that was perfect.
Okay, and then another big one that we've been kind of talking about for a minute is default and template bots. So now when you're a white label agency and you have someone sign up underneath your white label, you can now have a template or a default bot, which will automatically be placed inside that sub account when they sign up for your white label version. And this does not count towards their limit. This is a free bot that's on us, basically. And so the goal of this is for you guys, like, let's say if, an agency is really focused on the real estate niche or whatever it may be, you could make a bot that's hyper specific towards the real estate niche and then go into the dashboard and make it your default chatbot. And then when that is enabled, every new client that signs up under your white label account will then have access to this chatbot to have that aha moment quicker, as quickly as possible, basically, versus forcing a user to create a bot and experience it. Or, for example, if you guys are creating, these template bots for everybody manually, now you can kind of do this once and it will be applied across the board. And when you enable that, you can see that it will show up in your dashboard of chatbots with the purple border and a little pop-up signifying that that's the one that will be given to your sub accounts.
That's awesome. So if I'm on the full SaaS mode, for example, we have unlimited bots, it's literally on you, isn't it? Because I have no limit, right? When I'm on the full plan, right?
Yes, currently.
Cool.
Yeah. And then we just did a lot of kind of formatting and improvements overall to the platforms. You'll notice that all the chatbots are kind of the same size now. There's not kind of wonky and all that because we just simplified some things. So not to go too deep into all that, but a lot of backend updates have been fixed and updated. The team is now laser focused on getting this next round of updates out, which includes a lot of the things that we've been, kind of continuously talking about for the last couple of weeks. So we're excited to get those out over the next couple of weeks for you guys and look ahead towards whatever's next from OpenAI, because it seems like something's brewing on their end, in addition to some of these bigger topics that we're now going to be setting our sights on, like voice, both in and out of the chatbot, and then looking into the current state further of phone calls and how that might apply to businesses. So there's a lot of progress going to be made in the next 3 to 6 months on top of whatever OpenAI releases in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm thinking 4.5 or 5 is going to be out in this next 3 to 6 months. So we'll see what happens, but we are building for the future here. So every major, advancement or feature that comes out, we are going to be on top of and basically implement in some fashion that makes sense while maintaining the simplicity and ease of use of our platform, because that's always our number one thing. So
Ross, when is the auto open feature on your time frame?
I would say not in this next release, but in the release after that.
Thanks.
So yeah, I'll just open it up to general questions. Anybody have any questions, anything they'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I have something. So one of the features I'm really looking forward is like the source thing, that when the chatbot gives an answer, it tells you which file it was from and so on and so forth. So what I did a couple of days ago, I played around with that, and basically something that might help you guys, that's why I'm mentioning it here. I added in my base prompt, basically, tell me, so especially at a client that stuff, and they're like regulations and stuff, and I uploaded that to the knowledge base. And I basically said, tell me when you get information from the knowledge base, tell me what file it was from and who created it. and it works just perfectly fine for me now. So I'm still looking forward to the feature, nevertheless. But that helped me out a lot, and maybe that helps you guys. I
Definitely.
can share like the thing I added in the base prompt if that helps. But
So does
Definitely.
it state the file, and does it have a link to the file that it got it from, or how is it deploying that?
correct. And I mean, what really helps is that in the footer of the file, it reads something like instruction concrete wall.pdf, right? So it's in the file as well. I'm not sure about the file name, like the real file name per se, because it had like German umlauts in it. So it's like a little messed up, but that works pretty well for me.
Yeah, and
Cool.
I can
And it
confirm
has-
it's worked with another customer as well that has basically figured this out. So so there's two things. One, we're working on a tutorial to basically explain this and how you can implement this today within your base system prompt. And you can do this basically by uploading documentation into your knowledge base that has like link of document, name of document, and in the base system prompt, you put an example of what that would look like. And when you query it, it then gives the appropriate response with the hyperlinked website or document. Now that's in the chat. That's going to be all within the base system prompt. Now, we know that a certain level of amount of function calling within one prompt causes hallucinations and causes some problems currently with GPT-4. So the way that we're going to be implementing document recall or document sourcing or citations, whatever you want to call it, I think we're calling it citations, is it's going to be not within the chat, but below the chat. And it will be every single response natively that the data is being derived from. So in the process of the user sends a query, the query is searched against the knowledge base. The system takes those chunks of knowledge, wherever those chunks of knowledge are coming from, will then be hyperlinked below that says like sources. And then you'll be able to click it and then it'll pop open like, okay, name of website, click, name of
that's awesome.
website, name of document, for example.
And that'll be a feature that can be turned on and off, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And that will be, again, that's going to be a chat widget only feature because we have to actually be able to show that information. So, but yes, that will be a pretty much everything that we will be adding will always be that enable disable features. That way you can do it. And so yeah,
All right.
that's coming soon.
It's just a cool workaround that worked for me. So maybe that helps you guys.
That's very helpful. That's very cool.
I had something very similar, Toby. It worked for me as well. I think that's what Ross was referring to there. So we were getting hyperlinks to the document names in the thing. But when you do this new release, Ross, will we still have to upload in the knowledge base the file association of where this document resides, or
Nope. You just upload it like normal. The system will know. What we're going to be doing is we're going to create a new table basically that's going to map the name of the file or the website or the SEO name that we pull down when we scrape it, and then associate that with whatever linked file or website or whatever it is. The only caveat to this is when someone does a copy and paste text or a manual QA ad. And so we're playing around with the terminology for that, but for right now, the way that we did this is what will return is from internal knowledge base, because we can't link to pasted text, basically.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you guys have an idea of a workaround, like we're definitely open to it. But for now, we figured out like the main ones is website and documents, because those are the ones that we need to be pop up and be able to see, basically.
Yeah. And initially, we're not going to be exposing your public. We're not going to be making those documents like viewable through that interface. But maybe in the future, I don't know. I just don't know if you'd want them to be able to see those documents or just link to it and say it came from this PDF,
Yeah. That's another enable disable feature that we will be able to add, where it's like, okay, we want you to be able to see where the answer came from, but I don't want you to be able to actually see the document that it came from, or
right.
For example, if you were to make a bot for a course guy, you wouldn't want to be able to here's the whole course that the answer came from, but you might want to know like what chapter the answer came from, so then you could go whatever. So, and then The other thing that I think a lot is voice. That's this next kind of big addition that we're going to be adding. So the first one is going to be voice out. So there's going to be basically a triple layer enable disable on this. As an agency, you guys will be able to enable and disable this. And to start, we're going to be introducing this we're like seeding this to several agencies. So if you guys are in the Discord, we're going to be posting a link later where you can sign up for this feature to get basically early access and we can test it together. We're going to not make it complicated at all in terms of billing or whatever. We're just going to have an integration directly with 11 Labs, and that's how we're going to build it initially. So that way we can take advantage of what 11 Labs has already done and use all their voices and everything like that, and then implement that into the platform. When you have enabled 11 Labs, that's the first level. The second level will be enabling or disabling it on an individual bot. If you enable it on a bot, that's the second level. Then you go to the end user, the person who's actually chatting with the bot on the website. They then have the option to enable, disable it via clicking a little audio icon. When enabled, the response from the AI will be read. The audio will be read out to them via 11 Labs. And if they click it again, a little red X will show up and then it won't speak back to them, basically. So does that make sense, that triple layer of enable, disable?
Yeah. So if we have 11 labs already, I buy it through you guys then.
Nope. It's going to be just a direct connection. So
Cool.
their billing is so complicated on top of what we've already built. I honestly was like, it's going to be so annoying to do this. And I want to see how many people are actually using this feature because it's cool and sexy, but if it costs us a lot of money to implement, and no one uses it, then
doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah. So initially that's what we're going to do with that. And that will be voice out first. Then we'll look in and implement voice in, which will be kind of essentially the same feature, but then allow people to speak into their microphone and that will dictate into the chatbot as the message.
So you have to have speech to text set up for that, obviously.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we're trying to take it in stages because doing all this all at once is going to be a mess. So we're trying to make it progressive.
I just ask, Ross, is voice out the best way to do this? Isn't voice out more complicated? Or are you just talking about a voice that talks to you? You're not talking about phone out or
nothing related to phone yet. This is just speaking the generated responses.
Just it's speaking to you.
Yeah. So this is like an accessibility feature.
Yeah. I would have thought voice in still would be the first one to try.
It's a matter of me changing one card above to a below.
Oh, okay.
It just basically happened that voice out was first.
You can already do voice in because if you're using your bot from your mobile phone, you just click the microphone icon and just talk, and it will create a text for you in the question.
Are you using the native one on Apple or using Google Voice?
On that one, I'm just using the native one in the
native
iPhone.
one. Yeah.
The native one is so bad. It's comical.
But it will still translate your voice into text. It's not always 100% accurate, but
oh yeah, but it's very bad actually. So if you compare it
to like that one right there, like that button.
Yeah.
So Tim, I don't know what you're saying. Stammer Tim, I use that button all the time as well.
That's the Apple one. That's the Apple
I
one.
guess, but it works great for me all the time. I don't know what you're talking about, how it never works.
Well, maybe my voice, but everyone I talk to says that it's incredibly bad as well. And then the dictation they use on the Mac is pretty bad. Like it gets things wrong. But if you use the Whisper API, like I have an app that uses the Whisper API, it's incredible. Incredible. It never gets it wrong.
And that's what we would be using for voice in as well, is the Whisper API. So
yeah, it's funny. The ChatGPT has the best voice recognition of anything. This new thing, Pi, which you gotta see. It's spatial Pi is light years ahead of ChatGPT. It's just incredible. I spent all last night having a philosophical discussion about set beings and how AI can cooperate and collaborate with humans until I was trying questions to see what it would answer about what it knew about itself. Just amazing. apropos of nothing, but staying up late at night talking to
Other things of note I'll mention is we're making extremely good progress on, we're still waiting for the verification on the actual Facebook app from Meta, but while we're waiting for that one, we're like, why not just kill WhatsApp and Instagram? So we're now about 50% of the way done with both of those channels as well. So knowing Meta, by the time Facebook gets approved, we'll probably have the other ones approved, which then will allow native integration to Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and Instagram DMs, all within the Stammer platform natively. So that will be a great addition. And all of that will be done through our white labeled app. So it's all done through the brand AI Meeting Scheduler, which is a completely it's a brand that we created for Facebook to verify the apps, but it's in no way connected to Stammer. So it's the only way that we're able to basically create this connection with Facebook for Stammer without it being Stammer. So that way you guys and your customers can use the integration, and then if you're familiar with Go High Level, this is Lead Connector for Go High Level. This is our version of Lead Connector, basically.
This allows you to maintain it white labeled. Nice.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Other things, let's see. I mean, yeah, we're crushing updates. So excited to just get back to work, basically.
Yeah, the investments. Oh, sorry, Russ.
I haven't posted many videos, but I've been starting to post on YouTube. I'll say it again. If you guys are not on YouTube, even for just kind of, what I would consider quote unquote dumb videos, what I would, me just recording my screen as a Loom video, as a tutorial, they're getting traction. People are searching for this stuff. So optimizing your channels and SEO for AI chatbots, agents, custom AI, the amount of businesses that are now searching for this stuff and now thinking and we talked about this 3 months ago. Collectively as agencies, we are all 3 to 6 months ahead of businesses in terms of adoption and, seeing this stuff through. The businesses are now catching up and are looking for people to help them figure this stuff out. So we're in it. We're in it, baby. Any other questions anybody has?
Good.
Taking questions from newbies at all?
Yeah, please. Hey, Harry.
All right. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Listen, I'm brand new. I'm to Go High Level. I'm about 2 months in, about to launch in about a month, but I'm coming off 20 years of direct sales to medical physician offices, hospitals, and what I'm trying to figure through is how we can use this and avoid the whole HIPAA issue, or more importantly, I'm just trying to figure out where I can plug this in successfully. So just thoughts.
Off the top of my head, it would be in 2 places, aside, I think, from having it on your website or your clients' websites or their websites to answer those quick questions, like when is open enrollment, or, when is office hours, or when, office open, stuff like that. You could have it be something internal for the team to help prepare answers for someone that they're talking with. So instead of having that agent to have to I have to go look through our company documentation to figure out if we're able to do this, they could just ask the bot. The bot then gets the answer, and then, similar to some of these features that we're now talking about, will then be able to show the person where exactly that answer came from, and then that then gives the person a better answer quicker for that customer.
And so then they would just take their compendium of knowledge base and just whatever they want to include, because the company I just came from has this huge online app called UpToDate, right? And if you could, but you would have to have a subscription or an API for UpToDate. That is the gold standard for medical, but I don't know if you even want to touch that. And I don't know if there's a use case. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm coming off of and figuring out where we can plug this in. Because like you said, I feel like the wave is about to hit.
For sure. I'm going to send you I think it would be useful for us to get on a call and we can kind of go into more depth on your use case.
Hey, it'd be great. Thank you if you have the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'll send you the link in the Zoom chat here, and then anybody else, feel free to use that link if you'd like to schedule with anybody on the team, and we'll be happy to help walk you through your use case and see how you guys can use this appropriately.
And I just want to say the wave is definitely about to hit, by the way, because we had somebody tell us the other day, or maybe it was something you said, Ross, in a meeting we were in, that a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, having an AI that's trained on your business's data is going to be as essential as having a web page is today. And that's the world we're going to. Every business needs this. They have no idea how to get to it, no idea whatsoever. And it's just going to blow up. People that can deliver AI services and they can act as that last mile between the AI platforms like us and those SMBs, those customers, those businesses, there's a lot of money to be made in that space.
Yeah. Yeah. The power, I think, of the underlying application of function calling is also one thing I want everyone to keep in mind. That's the future of AI, is having AI be able to run code on its own and then be able to deliver results back to the user and itself. This is what GPTs are. This is like how OpenAI has introduced GPTs. Now, we have a plan to basically recreate that in a simpler and easier way, basically, so that way everybody can just type in, hey, I need to have a function that will go get the weather every time a user asks for it. And then all of a sudden it will spit out the code that it needs to run to do that. And all of that will be done in an interface within the platform. So that way, theoretically, at some point in the near future, the Stammer.ai platform will be able to have an custom AI agent that can perform any custom action with any publicly available API in the world. And then we add phone calling on top of that. We add voice on top of that. There's going to be some use cases in here that are going to just go crazy. So
Ross, when you say phone calling, what do you have in mind with that? Explain that.
Yeah. So this is one of the things, this is why we haven't introduced it sooner, honestly, is because one, we realize that for us, in the way things have like been developed, it's not where we wanted it to be yet. We are just now seeing the inklings of it being actually good in a conversation, and ChatGPT voice on the phone is one of those good examples. So now that we kind of have access to this technology, we're trying to figure out ways to implement this. So we're looking to the big main competitors in the market right now that are doing this, are implementing it in a way through like Twilio and kind of this haphazard way where it's not really, in my opinion, not really providing much value. So we're going to take our time to make sure that the use case that we build out for this is actually useful for businesses. So it's not something that we have fully fleshed out, which is kind of why I'm giving a vague answer.
Or no answer?
Well, it's the truth. We don't know how good this stuff actually is with businesses because it's not fully tested yet. So we're not going to release that to our customers yet. But once it is, and that's what we're currently testing, then we're going to release it, and that will be a massive, massive feature for people to add phone calling because it's one of the hype things right now in the market.
Voice AI is the future.
For sure.
I've been working with Ring Central on their voice stuff, and there's a lot of room in the market for this right now.
For sure. Question from the chat. I would like to know which industries, which niches could be very interested to buy an AI chatbot. It's better if the company has a huge knowledge base or a lot of customers, so AI can be very useful. I mean, it's pretty much any industry. Think of this, like what Tim said earlier, any website is going to need this at some point if they have any sort of traffic. If a customer or a business has no traffic and no customers, then they're probably not going to be a good customer for this. But if a website has traffic, then they're going to need this at some point in the next few years. And it's basically a question of, should that money from that website go to a company like Intercom or Klaviyo or somebody big, or should it go to your agency and your white label? I think that's where the advantage of starting your marketing for this stuff now is going to be advantageous. If you guys can position yourselves as an authority figure of AI within your business niche, and people start hearing this stuff and then they start saying, oh, ChatGPT can do this now, they're going to start remembering your content, come back to you, hopefully book a meeting and buy it from you rather than spending that money elsewhere.
I have one question. I'm brand new as well, so this is really interesting to me. I am focusing on the cannabis industry and trying to create a bot to read weed maps and Dutchie. And the crawler is having trouble going through their pages. I'm sure this was discussed before, so I apologize if this is a repeated question.
No, that's a good question. I'm thinking it's probably something to do with their protection, because most cannabis websites have that pop up where it's like, "Are you 21 and over?"
Yes.
And that can sometimes be a blocker. If you could maybe send us the URL, we could do some digging on that for you.
And who do I send it to?
If you want it, you could just send it in the Zoom chat.
Oh, sure. Sounds good.
The bot needs to
Thank
lay
you.
off the weed.
Never.
You can't find anything.
Yeah, right.
That'd be funny. You could actually program that in the basis to prompt. You could, give it that personality of like,
You guys
Cheech
can.
and
I'm going to
Chong.
do the stone bot. I'm going to do the stone bot first.
Do the,
This will be
Yeah.
good.
the stoned bot.
You're actually encouraging,
Wow, you got a problem? Far out. Did I tell you, like, on your finger, like the molecules, they could be like atoms, and atoms like have things going around them. Like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. I'll have
You're
one
like
for
Paranoid bot.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
Paranoid bot. Who wants to know?
So the
I
weed
can't
maps,
look for that. I can't find it.
Weed Maps definitely has a blocker. So a lot of bigger sites or how do you say it, Tim? Like not partnership sites, like listicle sites. They have blockers against scraping their site, basically.
Yeah.
Mm,
So
Yeah.
I would assume that Weed Maps has that without even looking into their back end.
A lot of companies more and more are implementing it because I see
Yeah.
I do scraping, and you'll find that it's more and more difficult.
So OJ, the piece that you can do from this is either try to pull out the text in a document or a PDF or some sort that would allow the AI to be able to know what's on that page without being able to see that page. And unfortunately, that's going to have to be a manual step because of the restrictions that Weed Maps has applied.
Yeah, I use another bot that would scrape links, but it's still but your bot still cannot read it, right? If it has link to each, let's say I want to have, all the strains from certain store, right? Like what they sell, what
Mhm.
flower. If I give your bot, each individual product page, would that still be okay or no?
To test that.
Yeah, okay. So
You
I
mean
think
will it follow the
if I
link?
can scrape and get individual product page,
Mhm.
I think it would be right. There'll be thousands of them, but hey, you're right. I do have then a bot that can scrape URLs. So, but I just want, I don't know. But
What do you think?
It really depends on what they're doing. So I imagine that they are using anti-scraping technology across their entire website, and or the pages majority being generated by JavaScript on the front end. There's ways we could use platforms that can get around this, but some errors would still happen. Like, Twitter is basically unscrapable at this point, and that's not difficult to make something unscrapable these days. So we'd have to look into it. Yeah, you have to let us know. Now, ultimately, what needs to happen in the end is that ideally, if you're working with a client, you have some type of, they provide some way access to their data, right? If they're doing blocking technology on the front end, they need to give you access to their data on the back end. Now, something like this, I assume you're not working with them directly, but trying to leverage their data in some way. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I just did a test scrape of an actual dispensary location.
Mhm.
It was able to scrape it, but there's no data in the scrape.
yeah, there's no data.
Yeah.
It may be JavaScript.
It's probably, yeah. So now I'm thinking it's dynamically loaded.
Right. And there is a way we could support this, but it would cost us much more to do so. So we would somehow have to recoup some of that cost. Maybe have like a JavaScript enabled web scraper, and you click that checkbox, and then it goes and uses that platform that I'm thinking of. And maybe we use message credits or something. I'm not sure. We'd have to explore that. But you guys have to let us know, is that valuable enough? If it is valuable enough, and if you're willing to use some kind of credits to do that scraping, maybe we could invest in that.
The other thing I'll mention quickly, OJ, is we're also working on an additional section within the knowledge base called products and services, which will allow you to add individual products with their name, price, link, quantity, stuff like that. Mainly for e-commerce usage, but for something like this, it could be adapted for your use case. The issue, I think, is the turnover of product within a dispensary is so high that it's going to be difficult to maintain this
Yes.
without it being automatic. So
I work with another bot that can scrape URLs and monitor changes in menus.
okay.
If I don't know if anyone would be interested, but feel free to reach out to me. I work with another company that deals with that. So, anyway, yeah, okay. I think for me, I have that part kind of figured out, getting scraping
Okay.
links out, from sites like Weedmaps. But I think you're right. I may be getting stuck on reading actual data on each product page. But yeah, I'm all ears about if there's an option of enable some types of reader, but using credits. I'm all ears. I think that's absolutely valuable for sure.
Okay. We also have cloud-based knowledge based on our cloud-based bases on our map as well, which alongside auto scraping of a document or a page could yield some interesting results. So I think some of the things that we're already working on put together will be able to meet your use case without us having to build new functionality. So I think give us like 2 more updates and then I think you'll be good to go.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Awesome. Well, this was a great turnout. Anybody have any final questions before we end today?
So you're doing a new release, what, about every 3-4 weeks?
That's
No.
what we have been over the last 3 months, but we're pushing that to be now between every 1 and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and possibly more frequently for smaller, bug fixes, minor things we roll out. I was trying to say this earlier, but the investments we made in our dev team over the past several months are really starting to pay off, and they will only continue to pay off. So expect us to continue accelerating massively.
Yeah. And there's more and more people that are selling bots like crazy. So we're not going anywhere. Things are looking good. So excited to see everyone's progress. Thank you everyone for joining. I will be posting this recording on YouTube a little bit later today. And as always, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.